And this is different than anything, any clinic around.
Workouts that are tailored for her, and that really makes a difference.
Really personal. I've gotten way more mobile, stronger, flexible. Just everything just improves me to the next level.
Welcome to the On Cue Performance Therapy Podcast, where we push sports performance and physical therapy to its apex. We change the game by bringing together the brightest minds in the field to offer best practices and question how things are done today. I'm your host, Mike Quintons, physical therapist and expert in sports orthopedics. I'm living my dream and opened a clinic that unites all elements of sports medicine under one roof to drive recovery and performance outcomes. What's happening, Performance Therapy Nation? This is Mike Quintons, your host of the On Cue Performance Therapy Podcast. Today's a very special episode. I'm stoked to be with these two fellas. We got Simoni Marco Lawrence, strong safety, outside linebacker, whatever you need me to do, coach, with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And then we also have here Chase Jiff Bethel, who is a strength coach, self-made, self-learned. This is a very special podcast to me. And I feel like I say something like that at the beginning of every episode, but this one's really different because I competed against and with these two guys when we were younger. You guys from Upper Darby, the Wildcats. I played Rose Colts, so I think we might have won one or two games, but unfortunately, you guys have some older birth certificate issues, I think.
We had some records, huh, bro?
Wow. I'm starting early, but no. These cats are two of the best men I know, and they got awesome experiences to share with you guys, our audience. So, which brings me to my next point, our audience. Thank you guys. The reviews are climbing. You guys are hitting the website, which is sweet. I want the feedback. Like, tell me what you guys want to listen to. I have some different resources, two of the most unique we've had on so far tonight. So, thank you for the reviews. Keep them coming. Subscribe, and I know these two are going to share. So, I'm stoked. Let's get into it. How are you guys doing tonight?
I feel good. I'm hyped.
Amazing. Let's get it.
All right, so I'm gonna throw this out there. Background is in football. You guys are very. We had talked for like an hour before this, I think, just setting up and everything. You guys are very well versed in athletics and dealing with different environments of people, which is unique and special. In Upper Darby, for people who don't know, we're from out of town. Paul Graham is from Upper Darby. He was a guest on here. Played at Upper Darby High. Upper Darby is a melting pot, the ultimate melting pot in Delaware County, right outside West Philly, Philadelphia. How many languages are spoken at the middle school? Like 50 languages or something. Yeah. Everything is in Upper Darby. So it's a tough neighborhood. You don't grow up in that neighborhood and be a slouch. So honored to have these two here from and representing Upper Darby. So
let's get it.
County buzz.
So county, all right, I'll take that. Delco getting some airtime.
Right.
All right, so let's get into it. Like, so your background is in football. Tell me about how strength training has changed. Like, let's talk about that and how it pertains to football.
Strength training now is definitely different. It's a lot going on now. From you got social media, it's very powerful. So you got the kids watching what they doing there. So the game changed. As bad as you wanted to keep it the same, you got to kind of move with the flow of things. You know what I mean? Still incorporate your old school ways of strength and conditioning when you know the correct way. But some things gotta bend a little bit or whatever the way or whatever you want to call it. You gotta bend a little bit to stay in the wave with what's going on right now. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I've seen that firsthand. And social media, it's amazing how many things you see on social media just like take off. Yeah. Like, now everyone's doing this drill. You see like ladder drills.
Exactly.
I've never seen before. And now like everyone's doing the same dang on ladder drill. Like that's just a simple example. Yeah. And even like change of directions off a box. Like you see that all the time now.
Crazy.
I didn't see that until I saw it on social media, a year or two ago. Simoni, you went to Upper Darby, then Valley Forge Military Academy. From there, and then from there you went to Minnesota University.
Yes, sir.
All Big Ten, captain. And then from there, I know you got some camp time in the NFL and the league, and then Canadian Football League, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time All-Pro. Enjoyed a great career with the Hamilton Tiger Cats and still hungry for more, which is pretty cool. I've looked into the Canadian Football League. It's dope, and I'm super proud of what you've accomplished, and you've made Delco proud. So all those different experiences from a military academy to the Big Ten to the NFL, the Canadian Football League, how's strength training changed?
Strength training is it starts off so programmed, right? So you're going through the ranks, you're in high school, and when you're in high school and you go into Upper Darby, you really don't know what's going on. You're just listening to everybody, right? You're just like, okay, this. You're going to practice, you're lifting weights, you're just doing the normal thing when everybody tells you. But as somebody that just loves football, you start doing your own stuff. You get to the point where it's I call Chase and Tyrell, and then we go over to Bonner, and we just do one-on-ones and just do drill-specific things, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what always clicked in my head. It's all this weightlifting and stuff is cool, but I love football. So it's in my head, I always was all right, if I'm training, I want to be playing football. Yep. I want to find a way to play football all the time if I'm training. And if the drill does not help me in football, then you're gonna lose me a little bit. I'll listen to you and I'll do it, but I'm not gonna give you that Simoni Lawrence energy when I'm doing it, you know. And that's just something I learned in high school. And then when I went to Valley Forge, they tried to teach you a little more, but it was still in my head. I was like, I want to play football, so I would get everybody out of barracks and we would go play football game or go play 7-on-7, and we'd do one-on-ones and just football-specific things. Still get your lifting in, get strong and everything. And then that limo came and picked me up from Valley Forge one day and took me to University of Minnesota. And I realized that you don't got no choice no.
You gotta lift, baby. You gotta train. So you have to train.
When you left Valley Forge Military Academy, how much did you weigh? What were your specs? How tall were you? How much did you weigh?
So I was 215, 205, you know.
The size he is now.
I tell patients in here all the time.
So
see that man over there? He was just as big in high school.
So I went to Minnesota. When I got to Minnesota, the thing is, it's not, they do stuff to make you want to quit. It's less we're lifting to get strong. It's just who's Superman and who's not Superman. It's you go into the weight room, everybody, it's max day every single day pretty much. Deadlift, squat, bench press. And
that was boring to you kind of.
Yeah, and it's my body hurts. One thing about college football is my body's never been so painful ever. Trying to recuperate and get back, and do all that stuff, your body hurts because your scrum coach is literally just trying to kill you. And that's what it felt like, you know? But, you know, I guess it helps sometimes. And my first season I was there was my best season because it was I was fresh out of college and I just did my own thing. And then when I went through the program, with the Minnesota program of just lifting and just putting on weight and everything, you lose stuff when you put on a lot of weight stuff, right? Especially if it's not catered especially to you as an athlete, it's just a group of people and it's this is what we're doing. So I'm lifting with Nate Triplett, Mike Campbell, and both of those guys, they're Mike linebackers, you know, they're big. They're big dudes, you know? And I'm I can't let these dudes outshine me. So I'm doing all that stuff. And then I shoot up to 219, 220. and then I'm and then it's you start to lose stuff. You start losing your agility and stuff.
How much, and I'm sorry to cut you off, how much speed training, agility training did you do while you were there?
You get that in spring ball. You get that at the workouts, but you you don't get it the way you get it when you're out.
What are your thoughts on that, Chase? Because if there's one thing, I'll say this, I'm going to give Chase some credibility here more than he.
And this is back in 2010, so all strength coaches, this is 2000. I got dated. It's 2008, 2009 football.
I thank you, Simoni, and that's it. Thank you for doing that, because we're talking about how it's changed, right? So well said. I don't know many who do speed training, change of direction, whatever you want to call it, plyometrics, agility, better than Chase, to be honest with you. I've seen you do it in person. Oh yeah, like for real. Like I've seen you do it in person. I've watched clips. Like your mind just works differently when it comes to speed and creating field-like, football-like environments and movements.
That's the goal.
So right, sure. So tell me how's that? What are your thoughts on implementing that into strength training?
Like I get what Simoni's saying. I do, but I just think it comes down to, like, they say strength coaches spend the most time with the players or athletes or whatever the case may be, more than the coaches. And I think the more time you spend with your athletes, you'll get to know them more and you'll get to understand them more. And, and I can tell you how back like in 08, 09, Marco's probably right. All they did was squat, deadlift, push, heavy shit, and move weight, get strong, be explosive, this and that. I don't think nothing wrong with that, but I also think it needs to be a balance nowadays because the game has changed in so many ways. Linebackers are no longer 250. They 225, 230, am I right?
Yeah.
So they're more agile, right? They move back and forth more, right? Offense is pass first now. So they running spreads and you got to be able to move.
CFL football.
So I just think
kind of where it started, like not necessarily started, but it's definitely grown from there.
Mm-hmm.
So to piggyback off Marco, I think you definitely need to incorporate the speed drills, the position work in between, like at least 2 days out the week. That's to make it a balance that has to be happening because people like him, you need to keep happy. You need to keep in the game, and you need to keep them going.
So that's a point, and that's like a great mind of a coach. Is like, okay, what do I do to like throw a biscuit at my my athlete to make sure like I can keep him motivated and coming. But here's the truth though. The game is about speed. Everything you just said supports us implementing more speed into our training and strength conditioning, and speed and conditioning as well, right? Yep. So have you seen a change in your experience as you came up like through Minnesota, like by the end of Minnesota? Did that mindset, and again, we're talking 2010, so 2012, 13, did that mindset change in terms of speed? And at what point did you see more of it and implement in your training?
So when I first got out of college, I was like still, doing the heavy lifting weights and just doing everything because I was going over to St. Louis, and the only person I had to look at, I was looking at what's the guy's name from Ohio State, my middle linebacker. His dad was a wrestler, Laurinaitis,
33.
Yeah, so I used to train with him in Minnesota, and he was like a heavy guy. He used to lift heavy and stuff, and I would follow him, and it was like, still wasn't my game, It's like, it's a niche, yo. You really have to find what works for you. So, like, when I was doing that, I was still heavy. I got up to 235, 238, 240 when I was in St. Louis, and I was just too big, couldn't move.
And they had you playing what position there?
I was like a will linebacker, and it was inside. And
for you young bucks, this is the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, St. Louis Rams.
Because they're in LA now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
So I'm there, and it's just
good one, Mike. Good one.
And what hit me, like, so fast forward through the NFL, when I got to I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this my way that I used to do in high school. I went back to the old school.
What made you? I love that. What made you feel that way? Why? Like what barrier was put in front of you? I'm assuming there was a barrier put in front of you that said, screw it, I'm doing it the way I want to do it.
When I got released from Philadelphia, I was sitting there and I was just like, it's not working. Like, this training, I know it works for them, but it's just not working for me. Like, because I'm a running back. I played running back in high school.
I remember.
I'm an athletic. There's not too many people that can like say they're more athletic than me, So I'm running away from that by gaining weight, right? So I start running. I start just doing sit-ups and push-ups. I call Chase. I call Tyrell. I'm like, yo, let's go do one-on-ones at Bonner. Let's just go do this. Let's just go do that. And like, I'm like, I get back to doing what I know, you know? So, and then I start feeling good about myself, you know? And one thing a lot of people don't understand is about strength coaches and all that stuff. A lot of stuff is mental, the mental game. So it's like whatever you tell yourself, you're gonna believe. So I got to Hartford Colonials, and I got there, and I seen who was the first person I seen? I seen Kevin Jones. You remember Kevin Jones?
Sure,
O'Hara guy.
Virginia
and
Tech
I seen
Lions.
all these. I seen Josh McCown. He's still collecting checks in the league, the quarterback. And I was like, and then the first thing that happened was I picked off Josh McCown, and I was like, oh, all right, y'all not like that.
He ain't that good. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that was my clutch moment in Minnesota when I got Beanie Wells at Ohio State as well. But moving through it is just like, all right. And like when I was in Colonials, they didn't really have a strength program. It was still like do your own thing type of thing. And what I noticed was I started doing a lot of body weight stuff. Like I would do squats, I would do ladders every day, I would do push-ups, I would do sit-ups, and I would just do stuff that just, because what people don't understand is people like me is different. Like, I'm a freak. So, like, it's a fact. And you got to know your athletes. Like, I can come in here and, like, and take 2 weeks off and then go compete with Chase athletes that's been training all year, and I'm gonna bust their ass. You know what I'm saying?
So I can, and that's one thing about Simoni Marco Lawrence. I think, and you know, like you said, it's all mental, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of it is. So you having, you know, some people call that arrogant or an ego or whatever. You're very confident in your ability to perform, and and you've been told by plenty of people you're a freak. I can vouch. I've seen you do a move for the first time, and it looks worse than a 6-year-old. You know, kid that comes in here, and then the second and third time you do it, you look like I'm ready to make a video of how perfect the form is. Yeah. You pick up on things very quickly. So, as a coach, what's it like working with somebody like Simoni or even a variety of athletes when you're implementing different types of techniques, but especially when you feel like you have to adapt to keep them interested?
So, like, people, like first, like you said, people working with people that pick up on stuff fast. People that pick up on stuff fast are dangerous, I think, as a coach, because there's so many things you want to do with them, and it's like you want to go faster, you want to skip phases, you want to do this, but it's like, hold up, like, you know, he still may not be all there. Just because he can do it, it's still maybe some things he needs to work on, or whatever the case may be.
How do you see it? So, all right, thank you. We talk about this all the time on this podcast. PTs in particular are guilty of this, and I'll be the first to call PT out. They get this toy that is this great athlete, and they're like, let's make him do cool stuff.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that shit. That's why I hate social media sometimes.
Like
so
straight face.
The process.
Like this is, it's funny and all, and you're like, you're right. I'm like, it almost like angers me when I see someone like when I see Alvin Kamara like standing on a plyo ball with 1 foot and catching 8 balls at once. I'm thinking like, damn, like that's impressive. But now some freaking idiot's going to see that and think that they should be doing that with their athletes.
Exactly, yo.
So let's talk about social media.
And clients, let me piggyback off that. Hold on, Marco, because I currently get this. I train athletes, and they'll send me these crazy videos.
Great athletes, sure.
And I be like, you just started. You're not even there yet. I know that's what you want to do, but you have to trust the process. You got to go step by step. You got to get the movements. Then it's a process that you get to do that. Like, and I guarantee you that, and I be telling them, like, guys, look, even my clients as women, they see these ladies on Instagram with these nice bodies and this and that. I want that. Guys, these ladies been working out for 10 years, 5 years. They put the work in to get that. That's not going to happen overnight just because you see it.
That needle too.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, that too, right? I didn't want to talk about that. But it's just that people see and they expect to be where they are. Like, they expect to do what they see and be able to be, you know, what they see.
So what is your progression that you go through when you're working with athletes, regardless of their talent level? Yeah, I do. Like, if someone like Simoni's back in town or whatever, are you going through all the same things with them that you would everyone else? You just throw them in a mix. What do you do?
It depends. Like good question. I won't throw you right in the mix. I'm gonna just get you sharp again. I'm just go over the basic stuff. You rolling through that. All right. You know what? You can keep up with my group. Like you said, like you referred to, you can keep up with my group. I'm gonna throw you in the fire. But if you're not there, I'm not gonna throw you in the fire because to me, I think it's harming. You're doing more harm than helping because you're getting discouraged. Looking at everybody just rolling through the drills. and it's like, me, and then here you go me. Now you're expecting to mess up. You know, it's like being the last man, everybody watching you. It's like, I got to get it right. And it's like, it's a lot to it,
That is
man.
interesting, the mentality of a group training session when one doesn't belong.
Then you got to worry about, and then you got to
For
worry
everybody, whether you're the one that doesn't belong.
And then you got to worry about, you got to know how to treat them people that don't belong. You know they don't belong, but it's up to the trainer or the PT, whatever, to make them feel good. Hey, don't worry about it. We're going to modify it. It has to be fast too. It can't be like, oh man, you know what, you messing the drill up. Get out and go back in the line. No, it got to be, look, go to the back of the line, watch everybody else, then I'm going to modify it or give you something different. Keep the energy. Make them feel like they're still in the game. Like, you don't want them to feel no lesser than what they already do.
Well said.
But one thing though, that's why you got to have different kind of groups.
Of course.
Because nothing pisses an elite athlete off more than somebody that's working out that's not supposed to be working out.
Yep.
Because mentally, it messes with you, yo. You ever see somebody jump off sides on third down over and over and over again?
Yeah.
Go train with somebody that just keeps messing up on the same drill over and over again.
And again,
it does something to you as an athlete, just because it's like,
oh yeah,
we're all competitive. Like, if you've been playing sports since a young age,
I get it.
you're a competitive person, like, in anything. You know,
agree,
like,
I agree.
If we get up and we say who's going to get to their car first and start it,
right.
You know what I'm
might be
saying?
tripping somebody.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you really have to be aware and conscientious. It's like, okay, this is a young kid and he's going to train with us. Okay, let's go. We're going to train together.
And I get that, and I do that. I do that, but I also let my athletes know, hey guys, we got the new guys coming with us. All right, take it easy. Don't pay him no mind, like, because not in a bad way. Worry about yourself. I don't care. I tell my clients that now I do a lot of group training, group this and that, and I always up to the trainer to make sure everybody you're inviting is up to par and is elite, because we about to go to work. Ain't no time for the the BS. It's your rep. If you tired, get the hell in the back of the line or go do something with yourself. And that's what then it's up to the trainer I tell my clients everything, like, look guys, we got a new guy coming. You know, he's not on your level, but he's good enough. I need you guys to push him. It's different. So that's when it's like being detailed. When I got somebody like Marco coming over, I'm letting my athletes already know, yo, he bringing that energy. Y'all better match him. I'm not playing. You got to match his energy.
So I feel like everyone listening is probably ready to ask this question. So what type? Tell me about the clients you train, Chase.
You want to be a little deep? I train
Be as detailed as you want to be detailed. We don't hold back.
So for my background, I got a good background in training from a little bit of CrossFit, a little bit of everything, a little bit of bodybuilding, a little bit of. So I'm heavy on sports performance now because of I hurt myself when I was trying to bodybuild, lifting heavy, tweak my groin, and that's when I called you, Mike. When I tried to figure out how can I get my groin better, came across your page, knew you from years, didn't even know he was a physical therapist. That's when he started coming down every Wednesday. We used to work out, kick each other's asses, 7 in the morning, every Wednesday. Go get some breakfast or whatever the case may be, have a shake. But it just comes down to going back to the question you said, I think it comes down to the trainer, just knowing his clients, just being well-rounded, bro. Right. I think I'm just well-rounded with everything that I do, and I know I'm not the best.
Well, how are your clients different? Like, what do you do with your where do your clients come from?
Okay.
What not necessarily even like demographics.
Yes.
Like what clients when you're talking aggressively like you are, which I think is like you say that to some kids in here and they're gonna be like, man, I'm gonna tell my mom.
That's my elite group. My high school kids, high school to college to pros. I don't listen. We working, and I let them know. It's.
I think what Chase does a great job at, just me being like a football head and a mental head as well, is Chase is gonna force it out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest and let's be real. If you get a kid from Haverford and you throw him down in Upper Darby in the jungle and come train with it, no, I'm being dead ass serious. Let's be real serious. Yeah. And if your kid really wants to come and see what he's gonna face in life and football and all the other stuff and all the obstacles you're gonna have to jump over, so he's not freaking throwing no temper tantrum and going nuts, you send them and go work with Chase. You be like, yo, go around them and see how they talk to each other and see what real life feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys ever watch Rocky. You seen Rocky?
Yeah.
All right, so this is like I'm a Rocky guy. I love Rocky. Rocky 3.
Who did you fight in Rocky 3?
Rocky 3 was
Russian?
Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang, yeah.
So Rocky experiences some success and like is starting to live like a little bougie. And
under the
for
tracks.
I need a break from Hollywood.
Yeah, no, for real. And then so he hits up Apollo Creed. And he tells, like, Apollo's like, what are you doing this, like, thing with Thunder Lips, who was Hulk Hogan? Right? Like, what are you doing all this showcase stuff for? Like, you need to learn how to fight again, man. You're over here, pancaking around. You need to train. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. They go out to L.A. I think it's L.A., but they're running on the beach and stuff? But he walks into the gym, and no one, like, was like, oh, it's a champ. No one paid him any mind. And it was like, we're here to work. Yeah. And that's when he got his speed up.
Yeah, I remember that, bro. It's good. That's a great.
I think it's a similar analogy. And again, it's not a race thing. It really isn't.
Nah.
To me, it's about like Chase brings out the best in his athletes, and I think the group setting for you is even better because you want competition.
And that's what everything should always be based off.
Yes,
competition. What my one coach, love him till this day, Coach Brewster. He always used to come up and be like, I want some competitive freakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's all life in football is about. Like, I want competitive freakers. And, like, if you're not competitive, like.
What are you doing it for?
What's up? Like.
And that's, you know.
Like, what's up? Like.
Piggybacking off of that.
What?
It's a kid. It's one of my athletes. You know, Marco actually picked him up, Jalen. Younger kid living in Drexel, little fro.
Pretty boy.
Listen.
Don't say his name. He's too young. His name's not Jeff.
Sorry, he good. That's my guy. Listen, Mike, when I tell you this kid, man, is an athlete. He's a diamond in the rough, yo. Like, athlete. Like, 2 carries, 160 yards. So 1 carry was 100 yards, the other carry was 60.
Stop.
But what I say, but when I met him, what I say? When I met him the first day, what I say?
I don't know if I want to say it on here, but yeah. All right, you let him know what's up.
Yeah.
But going forward, just piggybacking off of Jay played for a football team, you know, like
different area,
right? He was the guy. The best player on the field. COVID happened, right? He no longer plays for that team that he was playing for. COVID happened. The whole summer. I'm like, Jay, you need to play around some talent. You need to go around some dogs. You need to be competitive because you're the best player on the team. You're not going to get any better. So when you get to high school, it's going to be a smack in the face. The whole summer, he was working out with the older guys. I make him go against the best DBs. I'm talking about getting jammed up, getting the back of the line, like because he could take that. And it goes back to the trainer knowing their clients. You can't put everybody in everywhere. You know what I mean? You can't put everybody in everywhere. So long story short, this kid's down Florida, about to play for a national championship at 13U. Playing with a whole different organization, whole different team. He got there late. They didn't know who he was. He's starting running back now. And it's just from we breed competitor. We breed. And we always say, hey, Jay, you're not going to make it down there. You ain't built. You're not built. You're not built. You're not built. And here he is. I talked to him last night. About to play a championship game Friday for 13U Nationals down Florida.
It's a different.
Hey, and to be real, shit's different down there, yo.
Big kids.
Down where?
Down south. Look, let me
down
tell
in
you
Florida.
something. Let me tell you something about football.
All right.
Like, football is like people that play football like only got to like experience it in one area.
Yep.
Boy, you missing out.
It's a different. Well, and here's a different. And it's so I think it's unique in Philly, but also somewhat narrow-minded to an extent, where you're used to the dog mentality, and like I feel like every football player who's had success is like I'm going to compete, and I get that for sure. There is it's unique in Philly in some ways because the inner city teams don't get the publicity or the attention the private schools do around here. They're great at basketball. Well said.
People get labeled.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Football is St. Joe's Prep, Malvern Prep, Cardinal O'Hara. Like I can go on and on and on. Wood. There's so many great schools. Even Emotep's a charter school. Like,
they're getting a lot of kids now too.
Right? Like all these private schools breed football for whatever reason. Public schools, like you and I went to, also put out great football players, but the attention goes to the private schools. And I think the mentality is different to an extent of how you and Chase talk about competing in your training, right? So in the South, what's it like in the South relative to like that mentality that you two were brought up in? And I used to love, let me say this, I should have said this earlier. When we used to go to 69th Street for our all-star games, all-star practice, you guys didn't have the same practice jerseys on. You guys didn't have the same like pants on, like black and gray and
You'll
white.
be like we had the same color helmet on.
Shit, me and Chase was going 69th Street, get them colorful socks, you know what I mean?
Shoot. You like
I remember showing up
black.
because we had carpooled down there, and we roll up and we got our practice jerseys on, we got our white pants on, and I'm like, what are these guys wearing? And I kid you not, man, like hugged, like embraced us like we're a family. And I remember the coaches wreak effing havoc.
Yes.
Is what the one coach would say.
Coach
I was like 11 years old. Wreak effing havoc. I could see his face right now, know his name, but it was like that in practice. Like that was like the energy in practice. So and we had awesome coaches at Roastery Coles, but it was different. And I remember like having fun. Like practice was fun. I don't remember practice being fun before. When I was over there, it was barking.
Mike M-Dog, Mad Dog, man.
We had fun, man. I used to look forward to going to practice. It was different. It was different. It was so different. I loved it. So, like, that's a different type of mentality, and I'm happy you guys brought up energy and vibes and competition when it comes to training, because I don't think our coaches forget about that sometimes. Everything is so technical.
That's another thing, Mike. Hold on, bro.
Yeah,
that's
you're right.
Another thing, man. Like, you got to – it comes back to just understanding your client, your group. It has to be – I think every session got to be a vibe. You know, you gotta have a vibe, and also you gotta have that that effect. Like, you gotta know when to go. Your athletes gotta know when you're serious as well. Yeah, I just like, yo, look, it's time to work. We gotta go. You gotta go.
Well, and everyone else in that group session has the same mentality.
Oh yeah, you got to.
You know what I mean?
You have to.
You have to. You know how you got, like, you go in the lunchroom and you got them shit starters? It's the same thing with football. You got to find out in your group who's the shit starter, you know? Like, who's the person that's going to cause havoc? Who's the person that's going to be annoying as heck but get work done? Because you can't be annoying and be a bum. Like, don't nobody
Well, that's what happened. Listen, I remember walking on first practice at Bloomsburg, and I remember all that, like, the hooting and hollering and trash talking. I'm like, damn, this is different.
It's intense.
Like, it's intense.
Yeah, it's
intense.
different.
Yeah. I mean, you got two options. I can say, "Mommy, pick me up. I'm done here."
Or I can learn how to be a dog.
Or I can, like, strap up and let's go.
Better learn how to be a dog and strap up, like you said, bro.
But that's real life, though, too. Yeah. That's what I love about football. And we've talked a lot about, like, would you let your son play football or whatever? And I feel like as we keep going through this, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. At the very beginning, I was like, concussions. But what it teaches you about being a man, I'll never deny that. You know, like, it teaches you a lot. And I think we've talked a lot about that today. Yeah. So I want to touch base on training. You got something to add about that, Marco?
No, you're good.
Because I'm dying to know about, like, training. So
yes.
So heavy lifting, and I agree with all this, right? Like, I remember
let's talk about that.
Graduated in 2007, and it was all like, the 1,000-pound club. Like, it was all, right?
Yeah.
Like, squats,
never in that
cleans. Like, I remember being, like, all about the numbers. And then I started doing speed training with Ken Clark, and that's when I felt explosive. Different than strong.
Yes.
Like I remember doing, like, plyo jumps, hitting the treadmill, hitting, like, 20 miles an hour on the treadmill, and just doing different – I'm with you, bro. And then but doing different types of training and feeling different. That's when I was like, I don't care who we go up against. I remember seeing you guys our senior year. I think our junior year is when we played against you. Senior year, I remember just feeling just, like, different.
You look different, bro.
I remember you felt it.
You was big boy. Yeah,
it was fun. It was just different. So that's when I started to see the curve a little bit. That was because of Ken Clark, in my opinion. But then at Bloomsburg, kind of did our own thing, and I didn't know enough myself about speed training and plyo training to implement what Ken had taught me.
Yes.
For 2 years. So I'm curious how you see it now versus how you saw it 5 years ago as a trainer and as an athlete. Whoever wants you want to go first, straight? Go ahead, Simoni, you got it.
All right, so as a trainer, it's like, for me, you find your niche, you know, and you find people that's good at what you do. So I found that when I was training in Minnesota, I trained with this guy named Bill Welly, speed guy. I'm big on speed. I love speed coaches, and that's just what I like. And we did this thing called the shred mill. You know, it's like sprinting. You know, you sprint as fast as you can. You getting your hamstrings and stuff because, like, as an elite athlete, the first things that always go is like your groins, your hamstrings, your hips, and stuff like that. So what you want to do during the off season, in my opinion, is max them out as much as you can. So like, you have it's all about being able to get on the field, right? So a lot of players, when you're younger and stuff, you don't have the PT game, and that messes you up as an athlete. That's like you driving in your little fast little SRT outside and forgetting to fill up with gas.
Yeah, but
like what? That don't make no sense.
And I think that's what's different. I hope the rest of the country comes around to this, but this is what's been cool about what Chase is doing, because like Chase will send over whoever, like you got a hammy thing, you got to go see Mike.
Yeah,
and literally, and then we start all right, you're back with Chase now.
Yes.
You don't need me anymore. We're good to go. Or maybe you see me like once a week. You work with Chase 3 times a week or whatever, and then we transition. That's special. You're right though. I didn't know what PT did.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
You want to know? It's crazy how everything evolves, because before nobody would come to a PT unless you were in a car accident or you got your back from work. Nobody would come see you guys, you know?
Sure.
Now, y'all like, yo, I need a PT. Remember, the first thing Marco said to me, Chase, you got a PT? I need him.
Right, and then you had worked with PTs in the past that offered what you thought would be beneficial to you, and here we are.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the best thing, though, because it's like you're training excessively, right? And in my opinion, every time you're done training, you should go to the PT. Like, that's how I've been, like, my whole career. Yeah. Like, I train and then go see a PT and work on me. Okay, so I'm good for the next day. Train, go see a PT. Train, go see a PT. Train, go see a PT. Yeah. And it's just one of those things where it keeps your body fresh. It keeps you mentally like, oh, this doesn't hurt because I just seen Mike. But I get to go see Chase tomorrow, so I'm going to sprint with Chase. And if this happens, I'm going to just go see Mike. You know, it's like.
I think we need, like, PT is now transitioning. I shouldn't say transitioning. They're opening up a world of rehabilitation has always been what PT does. You're rehabbing from an injury.
Yeah.
Now, like, we have, like,
prevention,
injury, like, risk, minimizing, mitigating risk.
Pain-free.
But I'll say this much: optimizing muscle function. Right? Like that's different. Like, who else optimizes muscle function? Like, chiropractors maybe say that they do to an extent, or massage therapists. Like, but there's different things you can do that optimize your muscles for Chase to get the most out of your muscles. And I think that's where PT now, insurance ain't going to pay for that. That's the catch, right? Like, insurance is going to typically pay for an injury, right? That's what your insurance does. It's medical. Is it medically necessary that we optimize your muscle for function or for performance? I don't know. That's a whole nother story for another. But I think PT has done that, and that's what you've seen, and we wanted to optimize that. That makes sense?
Ask me that same question. Ask me that same question you asked Simoni.
Yeah, so in terms of, speed training, how has it changed, right, and incorporated into your strength conditioning now than before 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, right? Because I was talking about how my evolution through college was, Simoni went through his. So, like, how has your focus changed specifically about speed, plyo, agility training now than it was 5 years ago?
It's essential now. You know, you got to be able to change direction, jump this way, angles, this and that. So, like, I think it's essential now because that's what a lot of people see. That's what a lot of people show. And it's going back to social media.
Do you feel like it's essential? Yeah, you got something to say about this, Marco?
Another thing that I think people, like, need to understand as well is, like, landing. The way you land.
We talked about that.
It's like, that's important. Like, a lot of people, like, train and stuff, but, like, there's not too many times that you're just shuffling, backpedaling. Like, football is an athletic game, and you got to learn how to land. And you gotta learn how to do certain maneuvers, right? Like,
with your head turning.
With your head turning, your body like twisted, and like this, and it's just.
Oh, you see non-contact injuries all the time.
I see them, exactly. And I think to, like, train, like, guys like Simoni, like he said, he really don't like to lift, but
That's a lie. Don't let him say that on camera. I do anything.
Listen, I think that like working out, you gotta lift weights. Like I know all the speed and all that, but I think lifting weights does not make you better. I just think it prepares you.
Well, here's it.
Listen.
Go ahead, Mark. I
I'm going to be dead ass honest with y'all. Lifting weights, heavy weights and all that, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, have your field day. But I'll tell you this, I know one thing.
I disagree.
That's cool. That's cool. But none of your athletes going to be able to move me.
All right, so
no, listen, and I'm sitting because football is all about leverage. Football is a leverage game, and low man. They've been telling you the same shit since you've been a little ass kid. Low man wins. Hands inside. Da 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 da. It's like people get into the lift and then they forget about the technique and stuff. So football is very technical.
So this is what, and I want Trey, you got it next. I'm gonna say this much on it you bring up interesting points, Marco, for real. Like you really do bring up interesting points. This is what's different, in my opinion, about Chase and how strength conditioning, the direction it needs to go. Chase's lifting incorporates explosive movements. We're talking about like landmine presses in a lunge jump. That we're not let's not confuse lifting with a deadlift, with a back squat, with a bench press. Right?
Thank you. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to say that, Mike. Thank you.
Chase incorporates, and I'm not saying that you feel differently than that. I know you agree with me on that, Marco. But I did all that shit. But just so the audience understands, and you listen, follow Jiff. You'll see it. I would say a majority of your lifting programming incorporates complex movements in athletic positions.
Got to.
Right? So whether it's in a split stance, whether it's on one leg, whether you're going from one leg to the other with the shoulder press.
Exactly,
so we're talking so that is what's unique, and that's what's applicable and carries over to football. So just to be clear, doing a deadlift with 500 pounds on a straight bar is different.
I don't care.
Than doing a box squat with bands, and your feet are getting off the ground and you're coming back down. So I think that's important and worth mentioning, because that's, in my opinion, that's what's changed about strength conditioning. That there's speed incorporated in the lifting.
And more reps.
You think it's more reps now?
More reps, less weight.
Even for I agree, Marco, on certain movements. You know what I mean? That's another topic. But I definitely agree with you though. Like more reps. I definitely agree,
muscle endurance is way more important than being able to do something 3 times, 4 times. Because
I agree.
You don't know. It's just not 4 plays in football. Most of the time, we're playing 80 plays in a game some nights.
Do you modify your conditioning? So what? I asked you this before, and I'll kind of tap into it again. The athletes you condition that you work with are primarily, and I shouldn't say athletes because you have clients that are supposed to get there in fitness, right?
Yep.
So, are they football players? Are they all football players? Do you see basketball players?
I see. Yeah.
Do you see any other sport that jumps off the page, like soccer players or?
I had a soccer player.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a soccer.
A soccer player, it's not a knock, but really, you primarily see.
It's I would love to open up my
Sure.
I would love to, because I can do if I see it I can watch it. I know how they move. We could train. But honestly, a lot of football players and basketball players coming to me. I had 2 soccer players, and it was different for me. I'm not gonna lie. I had to really adjust. I said, you know what? Hold up. And it's funny because they still move the same way. All athletes move the same way for real.
Field sport's a field sport, right? You got to change.
Except hockey players.
It's they all got some type of familiarity. Right? I guess I said it right. Yeah. I don't know. They call me Jiff for a reason. I stutter all the time. I talk fast, right? So it's just that I think if you know how to train, you can train any athlete to an extent. I just movement and just
I think that it's about, you mentioned the word leverage. I think it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
I think that it's changed so much over the last couple of years. Social media has had a lot to do with that. We see a lot more speed now. We see a lot more change of direction.
It's crazy.
We see, at least I see a combination of the two, right? Before, for me, there was a lifting day, and then there was a speed day.
That's how I do it.
Is that how you still do it?
I do
sometimes
2 days of speed work, man.
So
agility, not necessarily speed, just agility, because I train multiple positions, and I got tired of, you get this hour, linebackers this hour, running backs that hour. You know what? Look, we are going to move. We're all going to do agility. We're all going to change direction, and it's going to be beneficial for everybody.
So 2 days a week you're doing speed, agility.
Yes.
Are you doing the same stuff those 2 days?
No.
Or two different things.
Yeah.
How are they different?
So like for instance, on Tuesday, we did everything was change of direction. Everything we did was change of direction. On Friday, it'd be position to plyo.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like Tuesday was straight change of direction, agility, drills, ladders. Now Friday will be a little bit more detailed to the linebackers or to the receivers or to the running back.
So sport-specific movements.
Yes.
And plyometrics.
Yeah.
So jumps onto a box or line
yep.
jumps.
I'm really big on like 3 days on, 2 days off, and then 2 days off is like active movements and recovery, stuff like that. So
you're running those 2 days. How many days a week do you want your athletes lifting?
at least a good three solid days of push pull and like full body. I don't full body. So 3 days full body. I don't even go into splits no more. So just more so full body. That way in the 3 days you covering what you need to cover.
Okay, so you said push pull,
hinge. Carry.
I love it, man. I like how you do that.
Yeah,
I think is that what you see at Hamilton? How much does Hamilton dictate? Have they dictated what you do in your lifting program? And is that different than what you see with someone like Jiff? Because I think that's the way it should be done, in my opinion. Obviously, there's so many variations.
Yeah, and you can mix it around with the accessories.
Out of season, right? But you got to get the functional movements in.
That's all.
I mean, what are your thoughts?
100%. Like the thing with our strength coach is he's all world, but the only difference about training at the pro level is you have to really understand each athlete. Because, there's a saying where everybody will get treated fair, but everybody won't get treated equally. You know what I'm saying? Because you just like you can't have Deshaun Jackson blah blah doing all that stuff. He's a different kind of athlete. Deshaun Jackson's a speed guy, so you gotta rest him. You gotta make sure he's doing this or doing that. And it's just it's tough, man. It's different. It's like in the high school level, you could be like, everybody get on the line. Yeah. Go. In college, get on the line. Go. In the pros, you say get on the line. It's a little different, but we have a strength coach that really develops a great program for the young guys and the guys in the group, and and the thing about football, it's the ultimate team sport. So everybody's gonna try to do everything that's incorporated to do in the lift and everything, but a lot of guys just got know what works for you, and at that level, you understand what works for you, and your strength coach is talented enough to put together certain programs for each and every athlete, and he has more time, because that's what it's all about is time. And,
that wasn't the case in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, we all had our little packet, and all I remember was like, you would have your max out, and then you just do like 75% of your max out, 30
you had a typical program, just like a program for everybody, or for your whole team.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it's not.
Ain't nothing wrong with that either, though.
It's nothing wrong with that, but it's not what you want to give a Division I athlete trying to get to the NFL, right? Because when you go to the combine,
tell me about that.
It gets specific. That's the best shape I've ever been in. It's like I'm in San Diego, and the guy's like, we're doing this. Okay, you need this. Okay, bye. I was 232, ripped up, running fast as hell, killing all the All-Star games, everything, and that was just specific training in San Diego.
Were you a great football player, even though you were combine ready? In your opinion?
Yes, because we killed all the All-Star games. Yeah,
and that was my only question watching these guys at the combine. Like, all right, you're ready for the the 5-10-5. You're ready for the 40. You're ready for all these drills. Are you a good ball player too? Can you get leverage still? Right.
That's
you know what I mean? Can you? And I would imagine the answer is yes, because if you're strong and you're quick and explosive, my only concern would be like your body weight. Like how much more body weight do you need to be able to bang with a 270, 270, 315 guy? And maybe not. Listen, it's a speed game now, right?
Nah, for real. The combine is one of those things. It's a show. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that, but I'm talking about your ability to from Jiff's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to get somebody ready for a combine and expect that to carry over to their performance on the field? Or are you building a different type of athlete that's going to be able to be a great football player too?
Okay, so
Does that make sense? I don't know.
I understand you
I'm building a great
exactly.
football player.
It's like if you're in the combine, we know you're a great football player. So let's see if you can adapt to the combine. Let's train and see if you can get ready for this job interview.
Fair.
That's all it is. Like, yo, you got a job interview. They want you
Right.
to jump high. They want you to do this. They want you to do that. They want you to do that. That's what they want you to do because you're an elite athlete. So go to your job interview and do everything that they say they want you to do.
That's the sucky part about it.
And it sucks.
Because you can do all those things and still be a shitty player.
Or you could not be great at all those things
And
and be a great player.
Facts.
And not
So
get the attention you deserve.
and that's why I don't really like, because it's like, okay, do these 5 drills, you're going to go first round.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's messed up because, like, y'all tell you, like,
Yeah, right.
drill-wise,
You go through the same thing.
I'm not no drill junkie, you know?
Hey,
Like, I'm not no drill I get out there, you be like, does this dude even know how to
put you on
play
the field, it's
football, you
over.
know? But you go do anything football-wise, one-on-ones, tackling, I do that all day because I grew up playing football. I didn't grow up doing drills. You know, I wasn't privileged to be going to these camps and all that other stuff to be like, oh, I know how to shuffle perfect. Oh, look at my pretty little, you know. I'm just, you know, like, it's different.
Well, that's why I always say, don't turn off the film.
Don't turn off that tape.
Like, you better watch the film. Like, that's the key. That's going to tell you everything you need to know. How fast that athlete looks relative to everybody else, assuming they're not playing Division I AA or something like that. Again, and there's weight there too.
Nah,
right? Like I remember Vinny Curry, DN for the Eagles. He was at Marshall. I remember watching him at Marshall, number 99. He was huge. I mean, like, he made everyone look like they were in high school. And then you see him on the field with the Eagles, and listen, he's a hell of a ball player. I mean, he's going to go down as a very good pro for a number of years. He's not the biggest guy on the field.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think relatively speaking, the film will tell you, what's going on if on the level playing field.
One of the best football players in the world. He's 5. I give him 5'6".
You talking running back at a
No, look, my boy. So he weighs about 155, 160. His name is Brandon Banks. He played for the Washington Redskins.
Oh, I
He
know
used
who
to
that is.
return
Yeah.
everything, do all that.
Know who that is?
And
what
they-
college did he go to?
He went to Kent State. And he's just one of those players where he's just a good-ass football player. You know what I mean? And, like, you can put him anywhere on the
Yep.
field,
He won't survive.
and he's going to survive, and he's going to make plays. And it doesn't have nothing. And you know what? It's just he's fast. And one thing that it always comes down to is you can't teach speed. And it's
and that's why we're seeing it separate itself in a game that is developed around speed. I mean, like linemen. Like, watch a lineman move.
Oh, man.
Like watch Jason Kelsey run down the field faster than there's a ton of linemen out there. They are freaking fast. And we're talking DNs.
Yeah, running
and,
4.5s, 4.6s,
It's
moving.
ridiculous.
And
It's
like
bringing
faster
it.
than running backs.
Yeah.
Bringing it, too.
Oh yeah, like hawking guys down the field 40, 50 yards. So it's a different game. I think it's special to bring you two on here. Let's get your tag. So how can our listeners best get in touch with you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Jiff24fit. That's JIFF_24fit. It's a nice husky cutout Winnie the Pooh bear. So yeah, if you come across it, just give me a follow.
You got it. And how about you, Simoni Marco Lawrence?
You can find me at SimmyHove21, SIMMYHOV21 on Instagram.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Simoni and Chase because it isn't over yet. Check back next week for part 2, where we dive into advice for younger athletes, Simoni's experience on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and how to train athletes for the mental game.
Thanks for listening to the On Cue Performance Therapy Podcast. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It would mean so much to me if you could leave us a 5-star review so more listeners like you could get this important information. See you next time.